Hello everyone, and welcome back to 4KB Shorts Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program with Kerbal Space Adventures. So the votes have been cast, and a few people, very few people mind you, have said that it would be a good idea that if we went to Minmus first with a single crew member, that way we could get a full-on dedicated multi-crew landing on the moon, which is great, and I totally agree with that. Landing on Minmus so much easier. It may be further out there, but it's so much easier to land on Minmus than it is to land on the moon, and so because of that, I went ahead and designed our new craft, a new name here. As you can see, the new designation is KSA Eve-1, is the Eve class ship. And as you can see, it's not very nice looking. It's a very complex ship. It's a science gathering vessel with all the goo canisters and all the science labs and all that stuff. It has enough Delta V, hopefully, to get us to Minmus. I mean, 9,563. We can get to the moon and bounce around a little bit with 11,000. So Minmus should be pretty simple. A little bit further out there, a little bit higher inclination, but should be pretty simple to get to orbit and get out there and land at least once. And if we can find a really good landing zone, we can get a ton of science out of these 4 materials bay and the 6 goo canisters at least. And then of course we'd have 4 of our thermometers, because that's really the only other scientific object we have unlocked so far. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this thing off. It hasn't been tested. I don't know if it's going to explode or if it's going to work. We'll have to find out. So it has not been tested, so we have to keep an eye on that. But it's a dual asparagus system, which is something I've been doing a lot more lately. The lower lifting stage and then the upper landing stage, both asparagus systems, separated of course by the centerpiece. Now most of the science will be collected on Minmus and then dumped at some point. We'll probably keep everything intact until we leave Minmus, and then we're going to dump every empty tank simultaneously. So, you know, if we run out of stage 1 and stage 2, we'll just dump those on the way out, because we want to keep these landing legs intact. Now I'm not entirely sure who's going to go. I guess we could take a look really quick to find out who has not gone anywhere before. So let's go ahead and just do better. Lost in game. Let's not do that, KB. It's been doing that a lot to me lately. Not entirely sure why. So, Lost in-game will be our crew. So once again, bye-bye Dookie Holiday, we'll miss you. Lost in-game is down here somewhere. I know he's down near the bottom, no offense Lost, but I know you're down near the bottom because you're one of the latest people to be added. That's right. So there we go. So Lost in-game will be our pilot. Everything should be set up, ready to rock and roll. If not, well, we'll find out there on the launch pad, because we're going to take this thing out, we're going to launch it, and as per usual, we'll just do the first launch stage, and if everything goes well, we'll skip ahead. If anything goes wrong, well, you guys will be the first to know. So I'll see you guys out there when we're ready to rock and roll. Alright everybody, here we are out on the launch pad. I had to take the ship back inside really quick because it turned out I forgot to add food, water, and oxygen for our dear friend Lost in-game, who would have died after 24 hours had we not done so. So I was able to do that, which made things a little bit easier on us, I'm sure. As you can see, we have 25 units of food, water, and oxygen, which is worth 25 days. And 25 days should be more than enough. It takes about a day to get out there, do science for maybe a day, and it could take maybe a day, maybe 2 days to get back. Not that long, really, in the grand scope of things. So let's go ahead and launch, and as long as everything works out, launch should be absolutely fine. Again, we're going to go through stage 1. And once stage 1 is complete, I will continue to record, but won't bother keeping it in unless something terrible bad happens. So super important. So let's go ahead and just get out there. Ooh, heavy and a little bit wobbly. Okay, so they're not, the two sections are not attached to one another, which is something I was concerned about, but shouldn't be a problem in the long run as long as we keep our thrust stabilized. Oh, she's much heavier than I thought she was. Okay, that's cool. That's okay. We'll keep going. We'll be fine. If we take a look at our vessel, we should have a thrust-to-rate ratio of at least... Yeah, we have about 2.5, 2.6, so we're fine. We are fine. A little bit slow on the frame rate, probably because I'm looking down. It always does that very bad frame rate when I'm looking down, at least when I'm recording really low in the atmosphere. Not entirely sure why. Lost, of course, very concerned. And first stage is clear, so let's go. And I will see you guys most likely when we're at Minmus, because there's no reason to worry about orbital mechanics or anything like that. So I'll see you guys there. Alright, here we are at Minmus. Yeah, now we are coming in on a 10,000 meter or 10-kilometer arc around Minmus, which is great. But while we're out here in the middle of nowhere, let's go ahead and get some science. That's right, we gotta, that's the whole point, getting science. Now, a couple of our engines are empty already. And for the purpose of getting rid of those particular objects first, what I think we'll do is we will go, here we go. We'll go ahead and use these scientific data first, so that when we dump these, we don't have to worry about dumping ones that haven't been used. So let's go ahead and observe our material bay. It's gonna be 40 science. The goo feels right at home here. That's high over in Minmus, of course. Then we're gonna do a materials bay as well. Observe materials bay. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. And it looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with this. Indeed, and that's 100 science as well. We'll keep that data. Now we're going to do a couple extra things, including a internalized crew report. So let's go ahead and do a crew report. And the lake bed seemed relatively flat. Perhaps we could land there. Perhaps we could indeed. And we will also do a temperature log temperature. I don't think we can from out here. Oh, no, we cannot log temperature out here. But what we can do is we're going to have Lost. Now, Lost is going to get himself a little EVA ribbon here, because Lost is going to go on a dangerous EVA over Minmus. That's right. We already know that's what it means, of course, is when you EVA when you're not in a stabilized orbit around a body. We are really high over Minmus, so that's okay. So let's go ahead and get our EVA report so we have it. You've recorded your observations about the situation. Good. Now when we get low over Minmus, hopefully we'll be able to do extra stuff like low over Minmus and EVA reports over each biome that we can cross. We're coming in at about a 45-degree angle. About right there. So we're going to get some really interesting data, but nothing too spectacular, like no polar data, just a couple of like the flats and things like that. So let's go ahead and grab our data. Yes, I know it'll break it, but that's okay. We have several to work with. We didn't bump the ship, did we? We did. We bumped the ship. Oh, wow. Oh, the SAS unit's off. That's why. So let's go ahead and collect the data from that. Yes, I would like to remove the data from that. We're also going to... Oops, did not mean to do that. We're also going to remove the data from the lander can, so that we can redo our report, and then we'll go ahead and climb back inside, and we will tee up our SAS unit. I think I turned it off to conserve energy, so when we bumped the ship, it rotated. Now to get here, we did use our, like I said, we already used 2 tanks to get here. We did have enough fuel. We had about half enough fuel out of the launch stage to get us into the correct inclination, but we did not have enough fuel to get us fully into the correct inclination and then out here, so we did use a full tank and then half another tank to get out here, but it should give us more than enough to do what we need to do. Now, due to the way that I collect science around planets by orbiting and orbiting over and over and over and over again, what we're going to do is we're going to get into orbit. That's, that's super simple around Minmus. We're going to get into orbit, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut here. I'm going to get into orbit. I'm going to do all the EVA orbital science that we can do. And then we're going to land. Yep, we're going to land. That's how we're going to go. Actually, let's instead of cutting here, we do have to get there anyway. So let's go ahead and do this. Instead of cutting here, what we'll do is we will go in as we are supposed to do. And then what we will do is we will we'll get into orbit. We'll get into orbit. And then I'll cut, because that way we can get the orbital science as well. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and check our orbital science here really quick. Observe materials bay. Should still be high over Minmus. Yes, high over Minmus. Reset the experiment. Alright, so we're at 278,000. We're going to come down to about 10,000 meters, which is really low. But if I am informed correctly, 10,000 is not a dangerous height to work with around Minmus. 10 to 15,000 is safe. On most orbital bodies around Kerbin, I believe. It might be a little bit higher, maybe 11,000. We may have to adjust accordingly. Let's go ahead and observe. Is this the right one? No, it's not the right tank. This is the right one. Observe material bay. And we still have high over Minmus. So it looks like no matter what we do, we're going to get high over Minmus. So bring it down a little bit further. Oop. So there's our ground view. We're coming up on our periapsis here, or apoapsis. Periapsis, yes, our periapsis here. And let's just do one more, and that's this one here. Just in case. Observe materials bay, and we get space near Minmus. Here we go. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with this. Okay, so good. We'll keep that data, and then we should get the same thing with the goo, mystery goo. And it should say space near Minmus. The goo feels right at home here. Excellent. So we'll keep that data as well. And let's go ahead and start our deceleration burn. Whoa, what is happening here? What is happening here? We are slowing down, are we not? Right? Yeah, we're slowing down. Okay, sorry, I had to check the map screen because this number is going up instead of down, and it's a negative number, and it should not be going up instead of down. I do see that our periapsis is a little bit... There you go. There it goes. Periapsis is a little bit low, which makes one nervous. See, I can never figure these ones out is my problem. Like, when I view them on the screen here, I know which is which for the most part, but not 100%. So it makes me nervous because I'm like, okay, which one's which? Because that should be... Oop, that should be... Yeah, see, as you can see, this is down to 7,000. That's way, way, way too low. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to do this. There it is. Yeah, because I get really confused about those kind of things. Alright, there we go. That's a little bit better. 10. Okay, we'll keep it about 10-ish. I guess I went too low on this end, so... Yeah, alright. So 10 by 12. 10 by 12 is fine. Alright, since we did that data, I'll have Lost get out and collect the data. Nice little sunset there. I'll have Lost get out and collect the data. And then I'll do all the EVA science, and then we will come back when we are about to land. So I will see you guys then. Alright everybody, here we are, and we're about ready to land. I have chosen, I believe this is the Greater Flats to land on, because that just seems like the best option. So let's go ahead and get our gear down. And we're going to try to land as I've always done in the past. I'm sure you guys know this if you've seen me fly here before, is I always try to land near the slopes, so that you can just EVA over and grab a bunch of science right off the slopes. You just float over and you pick it up right off the ground. And it's really awesome. We may not be able to use the canisters as much, but if we can hop about a little bit, there's a chance we can do that. So let's just go ahead and start slowing down. This seems like a pretty good place, you know? No better place than now. We are going to need Kerbal Engineer for this, or I'm not going to know what I'm doing. Let's check our surface and our surface speed, horizontal speed, vertical speed. Okay, so there's our horizontal speed. So let's keep slowing down a little bit. Oh, I turned off my SAS unit and now the ship doesn't want to fly properly. Let's try to make that work a little bit better for us. So there's our horizontal and vertical speed. 60, 50. Let's just go ahead and keep bringing it down. Alright, there we go. So we're at 16, 14, 13, 12, 4, 3. Oop. It's a little off. We're doing a little off, but that's okay. That is okay. We'll keep coasting sideways. Just go ahead and bring ourselves down a little bit more quickly. Oop, looks like I drifted a little bit too far to one side, so now we're going to have to correct for that, because if we land too close, we'll end up crossing biomes. And that's going to be a bit of a problem, I think. Let's just go ahead and go this way just a teeny tiny bit. There you go, and that should push us still not far enough, huh? A little bit further? I don't want to waste too much fuel doing this. There we go, it's a little better. Oop, missed it again. That way, come on. Come on, little spaceship, you can do it. There we go, that's a little better. Yeah, the rotation of the planet is a little bit off for us. Again, we're coming in at like a 45-degree angle to everything else. But that's okay. That is okay. We're going to land roughly where we're supposed to go. Without too much difficulty. And, you know, if we hit the ground a little bit harder than normal, as long as we don't roll over, we should be just fine. Okay, so here comes the ground. There's our surface speed. We're at 3,000 kilometers, which should be exactly right. So let's get rid of our orbit, because we're not going to need it anymore. What we are going to need is we're going to need to slow our sideways. Yeah, our horizontal speed is only like 4 or 5 meters per second. It's not even, almost not even worth calculating at this point. Alright, so here they come, and almost there, and that's about right. Yeah, about 1 meter per second sideways, and we're good to go. So let's come on down, Lost. Lost is like, I'm so excited. Now, I was able to get a lot of science. Oh, okay, so we have to just let time do it. Ooh, dust storms on Minmus. This is new. Wow, interesting. Now, I did notice that up high, I did see the clouds, which was really interesting. But it made it look like the clouds were like inside Minmus, like they were inside the ground. So it made it look like Minmus was hollow. I'll have to show that off a little bit when we leave. I have to remember to show that off a little bit when we leave. But basically, from high up, like where the mountaintops are, even though the clouds are supposed to render over the mountains, even though Minmus doesn't technically have an atmosphere, but, you know, that's okay. Maybe it steams or something, you know? Maybe this is ground fluff that's just steaming up, like an asteroid or a meteorite. But, interesting to see the moon and Kerbin hanging out up there through the green mist. It's very interesting. I love this atmosphere mod. This is so pretty. A little odd, but pretty though it be. But yeah, it makes it look like the skin, I guess you can say, the surface of Minmus is somehow opaque, or not opaque, transparent. I always get the word opaque incorrectly. I use it incorrectly. But yeah, it looks like it's transparent, like you can see through it, and the inside of Minmus is nothing but fluffy clouds or some kind of crystalline growth. It makes it look more alive, I think, than before. But once you get down here, of course, you can see that it's just basically cloud formations. Now, there's no atmosphere again. This mod does not change whether or not there's an atmosphere on the planets. It just puts atmosphere type things on planets in order to make them look more... Wow, nice touchdown. Lost has been our best pilot, and I'll say that because our exit trajectory from Kerbin was so smooth that we had more fuel coming out of it than I originally expected, which was awesome. And now our landing on Minmus is nearly perfect, which is just insane. But look at that! Like, look at you get the green, cloudy mist. They're not really clouds so much as I think it's just, like I said, I think it's just like steam off the surface. It's really interesting. And then you have the moon and Kerbin hanging out over there. So that's really interesting. All right. So let's take a quick look. Now, I already extracted all the data from all of these that we don't need. Let's go ahead and get rid of Kerbal Engineer so he's not in the way. So let's go ahead and check out our other tanks. Which other tanks are almost empty? These ones. So let's go ahead and we'll use this one. Observe material bay. While the material samples were processed, you began to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert, and have discovered that you are now hungry. Aw, poor us. That's okay though. Goo canister. Observe the goo. You observe the goo. Fair enough. Okay, so we have observed the goo and acquired our stuff. We need to do a temperature scan, which we can do with one of our 4 temperometers. A log temperature. Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. Okay. We will have Lost do a crew report. Super duper important. To record the crew's assessment of the situation. Done. Alright. We'll have him EVA. Boop. There we go. We will have him collect a couple pieces of data here. First, we will collect this. Take. Then we're going to take all this out. Take. And then we're going to store it all back in. Done. Alright, now we didn't bring a ladder, so we're going to have to do this nicely. Or as nicely as possible. There we go. So Lost is going to land as nicely as possible. Before he lands, though, I think we'll get the science out of here. We'll try to do the science here first, I think. Collect data? Yes, I know it'll break it. Thank you. Alright, and then we're going to collect the data over here. And hopefully we can do this without landing. I want to do the science first. You know, do the science and then do the landing. It just seems more appropriate somehow. Okay, collect the data. Now I also don't forget. I also don't forget. Alright, so we've stored all the data. We'll grab hold. And we will store. Store experiments. Perfect. Alright, so now we have, well, we have enough RCS for this, so... Let's turn on your RCS, there you go. Okay, so here comes our landing. Let's go ahead and land over here a little bit. We'll land up front. We like to land up front. We'll land up front. Right here in this misty cloud. It seems, you know, Minmus seems more alive now with all these clouds. More like scarier, like what we thought Mars was going to be like, you know? Way back in the day with all the clouds. And it was basically like, going to be like Earth, except everything was red. And that's kind of like what we're looking at here. So it's sort of like Kerbin, except everything is green. But it just, I don't know, it makes it seem more alive. It's nice that you can't see a bajillion meters into the distance. That the only place you can see is up close. You know, like this is your area. This is where you are doing your science. Oh, Lost is so stoked. Look, wait. I can't even see your face. Turn around. Turn around. There it is. Ah. I'm on Minmus! That's right, little friend, you are on Minmus. Alright, so we're going to have him do some EVA science, and then we're going to have him plant his flag. So let's go EVA report. You feel a bit like a superhero when you jump in the low gravity. Cool. That's a great flats, of course. We'll keep that data. Perfect. Take a surface sample. You sneak a taste of the surface sample. Nope, it definitely does not taste, or wait, nope, it definitely is not made of delicious desert products. So, we got ourselves a surface sample. And we will plant our flag right here. We're going to plant the flag. It's going to be off-center. It's always off-center. That's okay. And boop. We'll call this Lost Flats. We came here, knowing where we were. Now we're not so sure. Lots of green clouds to contend with. There you go. Nice poignant speech there. That's really what that is. The plaque's more of like the speech. There's your superhero moment. It's more like Neil's speech, I think. And when he set foot on the moon, that's basically what the plaque is for. I know that they left a plaque behind. You know, here mankind first set foot on the moon. We came here for all mankind. That thing, which I don't remember the whole thing of, but yeah, there's a plaque on the moon. But it seems to me more like the flag's plaque is more about let's go ahead and EVA again. Is more about what your Kerbal would say rather than what would be on a plaque, in my opinion. But you know, it's actually the only plaque we've ever left on another planet. Nicely done. All right, so well, since we've only ever gone to the moon, it's kind of silly to say that, but still, I don't know. Will we ever leave a plaque on Mars? One must wonder. Now, what we're gonna try to do is we landed. Did I use that right? We have landed. There it is. We have landed fairly close to the ridge here. So what I'm gonna try to do is we're gonna try to get ourselves some of that nitty-gritty science over here from these slopes, because the slopes come and then you have other places like the highlands and the midlands and things like that. We're going to try to get a little bit of science out of those as well. So we're just going to try to get as much science as possible. I guess the easiest way to check is do this. In space just above Minmus's Great Flats. That's nice considering, no, we're not anywhere near there. Oh, I love Minmus. You can go so far in such little fuel. You really can. I have done the thing where you can go down, land on the planet, and come back up to your ship using RCS, but it is hard to rendezvous. And I get so nervous. Midlands! There you go. There you go. Let's go ahead and slow that down. Slow that down. Slow it down. Okay, so yeah, we're still over the Midlands. So this is Midlands. This is odd because it's not really Midlands here. I think there are more slopes data here, but in order to do this right, we would have to land, which we're going to do. Get our data, then return back to the ship, and then come back out here. And I think we'll do that once more. But let's go ahead and do this and land. Perfect touchdown. Man, Lost is such a good pilot. He can even EVA like crazy. Look at that. EVA report. Minmus's Midlands. And we feel like a bit like a superhero. Of course, we always do. Alright. We'll take a surface sample. You sneak a taste of the surface sample. Nope. It definitely is not made of delicious desert products. That's true. I know I read it like desert, like sand desert, but I know it's desert. I don't know. With me, I have a hard time, like, saying the word differently. I know the difference, of course. I know the difference, desert and desert. But when I'm just reading it, it always comes out desert in my head, regardless of what it actually refers to. But that's okay. Wow, all these clouds out here. It's really intense. It really is intense. You have all these clouds out here. It makes you feel like you're actually on something rather than just, you know, on something. I don't know if that it's like there's a weight above you. Or at least that's how it feels from here. It feels like there's actually a weight above now. There's stuff above you, not just space above you. And I suppose that's okay. On the moon, I've landed on the moon with this mod installed, and there's no clouds like this on the moon. So this is specific to Minmus. It does look like there's an atmosphere on the moon when you get close to it, as I'm sure we've seen. It does look like there's an atmosphere, but when you get down onto the surface, there's no dust, there's no clouds. It's very much like our moon, where there's no dust or clouds. So I think this is supposed to be like, again, I think that Minmus is supposed to be super duper frozen, and then as it goes around and the sun beats down on it, it gets all misty and foofy, and the dust clouds build up. Similar to Pluto, I believe it's Pluto, where as it approaches the sun, its atmosphere it doesn't have an atmosphere per se, but like its surface becomes, or is it Neptune? No, Neptune's a gas giant. It's one of those. It's a rocky one. I forget which one. I think it's Pluto, but you guys will have to correct me if I'm wrong. But basically, as it comes closer to the sun, the gases on it become, well, the liquid on it becomes aerated. You know, it becomes steamy, whatever, evaporates, and it becomes atmospheric. And then as it exits and goes way out again, it re-solidifies into a solid surface. So it's like you could land on there in the mist one day and then like sit there until it flies out into space, and then the entire atmosphere like solidifies around you. Like creepy. Alright, so we got some more science here. Now, I would do the EVA thing again. We should really do the EVA thing again. We have a ton of fuel in this thing, don't we? We do. I wonder if we could just float over in that direction. No, we'll take off and land again somewhere else. But I'm going to do the EVA thing again for the slopes, because I think that's a good idea. But I'm going to do that off camera because it's going to take a minute to get over there and back, and it's kind of pointless to do that on camera. So I'm going to cut here and do that, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose another landing site, maybe on the poles, maybe on another of the flats. But I'm going to choose another landing site where we can land and use up the last 2 of our science and goo canisters. And actually we have 3 goo canisters because we have goo canisters here. And then we only have 1 materials bay. So we'll land 1 more place to get rid of our materials bay, and at least 1 more goo canister. We may dump these last 2 goo canisters as they're just there for weight distribution. Yeah, I'll have to figure that one out. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do the EVA one more time, see if I can get access to the slopes data, because it didn't take us very much propulsion to get over there in the first place. And then we're going to take off. We're going to take off, land again, use up some more science, and then we're going to head home. So I'll see you guys back here when we're ready to take off again. Alright everyone, I know I did say that we were going to take off, but getting here manually without like setting any kind of markers or anything required me to pop back in and out of the map screen a bunch of times, and I felt that was really annoying. So I decided to bring you all back when we were about to land instead, because that seemed like the better option. Unfortunately, strangely enough, after we landed, I don't know what caused this, but after we landed, the issue with the clouds went away. Like, you can't see the clouds the way you could before, which is where it was just rendering over the surface. It actually now renders like an atmosphere, which is really odd. I wonder if that's just a glitch with Minmus before you land. I honestly don't know, but it seems like that might be a thing. So as you can see, I chose the different flats. I think these are the great flats rather than the greater flats. And we're going to land, hopefully, somewhere over in this area. We're going to come down pretty low and pretty fast, which is going to be tough. But as we come down, we should be able to see those clouds pick back up. Yeah, there they are. So yeah, it looks like the glitch, I'll call it a glitch, because it looks like the visual effect only occurs when you first show up at Minmus. And then after you land and take off again, it knows where to render the clouds better, and so it doesn't appear quite as they don't appear quite as high up. Or maybe it's just in this area here where we were, you don't see them as much. But yeah, the first time with this mod, the first time you ever land on Minmus, you're going to see that that cloudiness that looks like it's under the surface, which of course makes it look really oddball. All right, so let's go ahead and slow down a little bit. You know, like, Kerbal Engineer might be able to help us out here. Yeah, now we did lose out 2 more engines, so we're down to 3 engines, including 1 very teeny tiny engine right in the middle. The middle engine is the tiniest engine. It's there mostly for maneuverability, not much else. I think this is the last jump we're going to do, and the reason for that is because getting off of here is easy. Getting off of Minmus is easy. Returning back to Kerbin is relatively easy, but I don't want to push it too much is really how I want to go with that. So we should be over what we're over. I hope we'll come down, we'll find out. We should be. I mean, worst comes to, yeah, we should absolutely be over our goal. So we're going to come down again. I love the clouds. I love them. When I was doing the last EVA with Lost and we were floating, I mean, basically I just went up to the mid-level of the slope and was able to get data from there. But we got that. And then floating back and just watching him float through the clouds, it was really intense because it actually felt like the planets, like Minmus was more alive. I know I said this before, it was like Minmus was more alive. And somehow, like, it felt like things might actually change. And then I realized that that'd be something that I think that Squad, if not Squad, then modders like they've done here, should really concentrate on. And I'm not talking about making planets deform if they're hit by asteroids or erosion or anything insane like that, but I mean making planets feel more alive with dust particles and atmospheric effects and clouds and things like that. Getting that in there is really intense. Like having Kerbin, like ever since the first Kerbin cloud mod, which is basically just a texture that appeared on top of the other texture at certain altitudes made Kerbin look so much more pretty and made you actually feel happy when you're up in orbit, and made you feel even more elated when you came back from a long trip and you had the clouds and everything greeting you. It just felt more alive. City lights, not so much. It's still a little buggy for city lights, but the clouds and everything, totally awesome. Even here on Minmus with these clouds, it's this little cloud formations here. We're coming down kind of hot. A little better. Even with all these clouds and everything, it just makes Minmus feel alive. Oh wow, big old empty space over there. Interesting. Interesting. Yeah, it makes Minmus feel alive, and that's so epic. Actually, you know what? I think that's dark over there because we're actually heading towards the dark side of Minmus. So I think the clouds only really appear on the bright side of Minmus. See, again, alive. It makes it feel like the universe actually means something rather than just a bunch of rocks going around in circles. Alright, so we've landed, and we have one more of these. Observe material bays. While the material sample were processed, you began to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert. And I've discovered that you are now hungry. And this is the lesser flats, not the great flats. Okay, that's fine. Lesser flats are fine. And we'll observe our mystery goo, which tells us, you observe the goo. Convenient. Alright, so we've observed the goo. We will take a temperature reading, I think. Yes, we have 4 of these. We don't even need 4 of these. Log temperature. Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. Oh, good. Alright, so we've gotten that. We'll do a crew report, of course. Crew report. Record the crew's assessment of the situation. 25 additional science. We'll have lost. Get out. Get out! You fool. We'll have him take all the datums and then put them all back. And the reason for that, again, is so that we can reset our crew report. It may seem cheaty, but honestly, it's not, because the crew reports in different locations. It's just the way the pod and data works is it gets confused with regards to whether or not a crew report's already been collected. So by taking it out and putting it back, all you're basically doing is resetting the pod to allow you more crew reports. Because to say that a crew would only ever do 1 crew report is just insane. But it's a coding problem rather than an actual design choice, I think, personally. But the fact that you can get around it means that it's not a problem. A little bit annoying, but not too bad. Okay, we'll store our 2 experiments. I keep forgetting that RCS doesn't turn back on when you let go. We're going to jump down here onto the ground. And there's no really other place, I think, nearby to get any more science. Maybe on the highlands, but the highlands... It's rocking really bad. Maybe on the highlands, but the highlands are so... I don't even know where they are. I found them on accident. It's a really tall mountain. It's like a 9,000 meter mountain somewhere around here on Minmus. But to find it and land on it with the amount of fuel we have left, I think would be too much of a pain. So again, I think we're just going to take off and go. And we'll leave the 2 goo canisters behind, which may seem wasteful, but, you know, we've had worse. EVA report. You feel a bit like a superhero when you jump in the low gravity. Oh, that's good. Take surface sample. The surface seems to consist of tiny crystal-like grains. Very pretty. Probably not edible. Indeed. Alright, now we're not going to plant another flag because we've already planted our flag. Need to do that correctly. And I guess now the time to go home has come. That's right. It's time to bring our little friend Lost back to Kerbin. So let's go ahead and get on board. And we'll save in case of bugs, crash, or kaboom. Now on the way up, I had this stage locked, but it looks like it's not anymore. Okay, it's not stage locked. So on the way up, what we're going to do is we're going to start dumping components. And here's where the fun part comes in, because if I got these stages wrong, we're going to dump components that we otherwise need to keep. I'm pretty sure I got them right. Alright, zeroed out, and then the last 2... still have fuel. Okay, so that makes sense. Even if they're out of order, even if these 2 are out of order, they're the ones that are empty, so it doesn't really matter. So let's go ahead and take off. Now we want to go probably west, east or west. Probably west would be easier. So that's the 270 mark. So let's go ahead and take off. And as we take off, we're going to dump, and then we're going to go a little bit faster, and then we're going to go that way and gear up, just for funsies. Bye-bye, little guys. Oh, wow, they didn't explode or anything. They just went. I guess it would have been better to have them explode, but we'll just leave the debris behind. Maybe we'll come back later and collect the science from them or something. I don't know. they're gone now for always, so we'll not be concerned too much about that. So yeah, this is what it looks like. I kind of liked it. I kind of liked the wiriness of it, but That's me, of course. Okay, 10,000 meters. Let's go ahead and go a little bit higher than 10,000, just in case. I did cross a couple of mountains that were kind of like 9,500 meters, and so we were just kind of skimming across, and I was like, probably a little bit too low, or a little bit too low. Yes, 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 I know we need to be above 3,000 meters. Calm yourself. And of course, lost. Very sad. It's very sad. Oh, did we not take temperature gauge? I think we did. Well, you know what? It's already on there, so we'll just keep it on there. We'll not worry about it. It's on there. Even if we didn't collect it, it's on there. We'll worry about it when we get back to Kerbin. How about that? And if we did miss the temperature gauge, it wouldn't be the worst day ever, I don't think. I don't actually remember because I have to do like 17 different science things, so it's hard to recall all of them. All right, 10,000, 11,000. We're starting to come up on our apoapsis, so we can start over. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Here's where you get kind of the image. So, as you can see, there's clouds here, and they look perfectly fine from here, but maybe my brain has finally interpreted the information correctly. I don't know. I feel as though I may have... Oop, we're pushing it a little hard. Maybe... Yeah, there it is. There it is. So, as you can see, there are the clouds, and then as they are over the top of Minmus. But for whatever reason, as everything goes by, it looks like the ground is moving faster than the clouds. Which is just a visual effect, of course, but it makes it look like the clouds are inside Minmus. Which, of course, means that it looks like Minmus has a skin, a transparent skin, which you can see through, as you can see. And it looks really, 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 really odd. Like the interior of Minmus is made up of this cloudy, fluffy structure. And I find that interesting. And again, it's just a visual effect from the way that the clouds render versus the way that the ground's rendered. But it's just really interesting to me. Oop, we're at 45,000 meters. Okay, there we go. All right, we are in orbit. I am going to do the burn to get us back to Kerbin. We should just go straight to a... we could have gotten a little bit more science out of this. We could have. Probably still could if we wanted to try landing on these two lander legs. I am thoughtful. 2,157. You know what? I like to leave us a little bit of wiggle room. I do. And so we'll come back. We'll come back if we have to. This is going to get us enough science to last a lifetime. Or not, you know. And I think this is actually one of the highlands. Is why I was like, we could land there and then land there, but no. It'll take too much. It'll take too much, and I don't want to put Lost in any more danger than he already is. So, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and cut here, and then we're gonna go and I'm gonna get us back to Kerbin, and then we're gonna bring Lost down. Woo! And we're gonna see how much science we got off of this trip because it should be a ton. I'm hoping for like 1,000, or maybe even I'm pushing it, but maybe even 2,000 science. That'd be so epic. So I will see you guys most likely when we're about to burn in on Kerbin. Okay, everybody, I know I said, again, I know I said that we were going to be landing at Kerbin, but we got a fun little moon intercept. Hey, we got a lunar intercept, and so because of that, we are going to do a couple of things here with our remaining mystery goos. Now, we don't get much science out of it, but the more we collect, the better off we are, so the goo feels right at home here. So that's 6.9. I think we've already done a crew report, so let's go ahead and take a look. Yes, we have. We've already done a crew report. You look down at the cold gray surface. It looks really beat up. Craters, indeed. And I'm pretty sure we've already done an EVA, but we'll check. And we'll let Lost get himself another EVA ribbon, huh? Yeah, right here. You've recorded your observations about the situation. Of course, again, no science out of that one. Oops, you know what? He needs to go grab that goo canister, buddy. He's like, wait, what? Goo, what? Yeah, goo canister. So we're gonna grab the goo canister. Now we're not gonna get close enough to the moon for there to be any low in moon science, so we're only going to have high in moon science, but we got a fun little encounter with the moon, and we had enough delta V left to basically kick on our lights so I can see what I'm doing, to basically get us to the moon and then get us back onto Kerbin safely without any kind of issues. So because of that, I decided that going to the moon, or just allowing the lunar intercept would be a pretty fun little thing to do, get us a little bit teeny tiny bit more science, have Lost do some really cool stuff that I'm sure that he's really excited to do. So he got to do a lunar scientific run. Now we have another burn coming up in 2 hours, and that's going to slow us way down, almost into lunar orbit, but not quite into lunar orbit. Once that is done, we will then have to do another burn in order to burn down into Kerbin orbit. And Kerbin is, well, the moon's right. Ah, there it is. Okay, so yeah, we're coming up, and we'll be going over the moon, and then we will do a secondary burn to bring ourselves down into Kerbin atmosphere for our final run. But that's going to be super duper awesome. So I'll see you guys again. I'll see you guys when we get down inside Kerbin's atmosphere, rather than way up here by the moon. But I thought that that'd be really interesting for you guys to see that we did get a lunar intercept, and we are getting a little bit more lunar science. Awesome stuff. So I'll see you guys down near the ground. Okay, everyone, here we are yet again. Lots of cuts this time around, but that's okay. That's okay. It was a long mission. We have a really long mission, but I just wanted to show you guys coming in around Kerbin with the dark side. You know, we're coming out of the dark side onto the light side and everything. It's very pretty. And we are coming in from a lunar orbit. So because we're coming in from a lunar orbit, oh, okay, that's why my ship is sideways. Because we're coming in from a lunar orbit, we will be going a little bit faster than normal, but we do have a little bit of fuel left in these outer tanks. So of course, what we're going to do is we're just going to burn, help slow ourselves down before we strike upper atmosphere too much. And then that way, what we get is we get ourselves, we get the ability to save our heat shield. Not that we really need to. I mean, it's a pretty hefty heat shield, but it will give us the opportunity to just help out a little bit. And, you know, it's better than to waste it, you know? It's better than to waste it. Just look at this whole trip took 4 days. 4 days, 16 hours, 50 minutes. And I gave Lost 25 days. But that's okay, you know, just in case. The food weighs a little bit when you use the little green guys, because you can see we use the little green guys here. Speaking of which, how much food and water and oxygen? Half a day? Okay. When you use these little green canisters here for food, water, and oxygen, they can go up to 80 days, but they're very, 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 very heavy. And because they are so heavy, it's always good to empty out some of the goods. Because it's easier just to use the one canister than it is to use 3. Because it's food, water, and oxygen. That's 3. 3 is hard to manage, so you end up with 1. Let's get rid of those. Bye-bye, guys. They'll be coming down no matter what, too. 3 is hard to manage in comparison to, say, 4 or 1, even. And so I like to use this one big green one rather than 3 or, you know, 2 or 3 the other canisters. But these are heavier. They're actually heavier than the combined weight of all the others. So, bye-bye. Oh, we may have a problem here. Nope, I think we're okay. We turn off our SAS, are we going to be okay? Yes, we are. Ooh! So, yeah, it looks like that's a little bit more, has a little bit more of a drag quotient than we do. So we'll have to watch that as we come in. So it looks like we're doing okay. The heat shield's doing its thing. We're kind of wobbling a little bit, but we're not wobbling too badly. If we take a look at our resource panel, okay, so there goes our ablative coating, yeah, ablative shielding. So we're at 1,000. Our G-forces are about halfway, so it's about 6 Gs, which isn't too bad. We should be more than okay. Yeah, we should be absolutely fine. Now, I am using a slightly different design. We are using the single large parachute rather than multiple small parachutes. I did that so I could put lights on here, which, as you saw, we had basically daytime the entire time, so lights were completely pointless. But we'll be okay with that. We'll be okay with that. So let's go ahead, and I think what we're going to do is we will ditch this plate. It looks like we're coming down on top of a mountain. So I'm going to go ahead and use our brain a little bit here and pop that chute early, just in case we're coming down on top of a mountain, because I don't want to hit the mountain top through the clouds. And again, I love the clouds. I love it. I love it so much. You have the clouds and everything. You're like, you're not sure what you're going to hit. So there's the cloud, or there's a hilltop. Now I hope we don't fall. That's going to be a thing, is if we roll or fall in some way. Ooh, probably not the best way to go. Now where did our debris go? Did it vanish? Looks like it may have vanished. Okay, so our debris may have vanished. We have some trees and some brush. We're going to land on the side of this hill. I hope we don't... Oh, no, debris did not vanish. Is that our... Oh, wow, okay, yeah. I think that was our debris. And then our heat shield went over that way. So, wow. That came kind of close. Alright, we're moving a little fast, but it shouldn't be too fast for this parachute. 82 shouldn't be too... Yeah, I was going to say 82 shouldn't be too fast. Okay, so that worked. Yeah, I like that new parachute. It's, very, very helpful. So let's try to get ourselves down to the ground really quick, so that we can land this thing. Then maybe we can get some science out of this. Alright, if you guys hear a really loud humming in the background, I do apologize for that. I have no idea what that is, and I say that because I think it's a street sweeper. And whatever it is, it's extremely loud and I can hear it, and I'm pretty sure you guys can hear it too. So if you hear that, I don't know what it is. It left for a second and it came back, and I could try to talk over it this entire time. Cactus! We're gonna land near a cactus. That's okay. A cactus makes up for street sweepers, right? Alright, so let's go ahead and land here. Boom. And ooh, yeah, it wanted to fall over. It did, but we used our SAS unit to keep that from happening. Now, since we're here, let's do a little bit more science. Crew report. Well, oh, Kerbin's grasslands? Really? You consider this grasslands, not highlands or desert? This is grasslands? I don't think so, sir. We must have landed on a biome flip. Sometimes between biome flips, there's a little bit of a bug where it thinks you're in one biome or a different biome that's completely separate from the other. So, yep, looks like dirt. Well, that's 2.3 science. EVA report. I don't think a spacesuit was entirely necessary to get here. No, but it was entirely necessary to get back here. All right, so I'm going to cut over to the return screen. Is that the moon? Hey, it's the moon. I'm going to cut over to the return screen. I think I'm going to do it after this buzzing goes away. And that way you guys don't have to deal with the loading screen. So I'll see you guys at the other screen, and we'll see exactly how much science and stuff we got. So I'll see you there. All right, and here we are. It turns out that as soon as I stopped the recording, the buzzing stopped. And it's a cement mixer, not a street sweeper, and it's right outside my place. So I do apologize for that. It's really, really loud. It went away for a minute. I'm like, okay, maybe it's a street sweeper. It goes away, it comes, but then it started up again. It's like, ah. Anyway, that's a believer the point. Anyway, so look at this. 1,865 science. Yeah, 1,800, almost 2,000. Almost 2,000 science, but not exactly 2,000 science. Let's look at that. That's totally awesome. And let's take a quick look. What did Lost get? Lost is probably like coated in ribbons, right? Let's see. Lost, where are you? L. Lost. Oh my god, look at this. Dangerous EVA ribbon. EVA ribbon while not in a stable orbit. First Minmus surface EVA. First Minmus orbit EVA. First Minmus orbit EVA, really? First Minmus orbital EVA ribbon. Awarded for being the first Kerbal on EVA in a stable orbit around Kerbin. And awarded for being the first Kerbal orbiting around Minmus. Or excuse me, yeah, Minmus in the Minmus, okay. And awarded for EVA in zero atmosphere around the moon. Hey, look at that! And that was a moon EVA ribbon. G-Force 6 ribbon, of course. Kerbin surface EVA ribbon, awarded for taking footsteps on Kerbin. Kerbin EVA ribbon, awarded for EVA in zero atmosphere around Kerbin. And then the Kerbin orbit ribbon, awarded for orbiting around Kerbin. Nice! Now, this one I got because I grabbed a little bit of science high over Kerbin off camera. So yeah, that's pretty good collection there, Lost. Look at that. He's currently on a mission. Well, he will be as soon as we're done. Alright, now I'm pretty sure that's been time. If it hasn't, it should be. It was a really long mission. But before we go ahead and end this, let's go ahead and take a quick look at what kind of science we can get. Now, we wanted to do a multi-lander on the moon, right? And for that, I think we'll go ahead and get the Cupola module, but that's 300 sciences. That's a lot of sciences. Was there anything else we absolutely needed to do? I think we wanted to do a couple other things. We have so much science to work with, though, you know? As I was like, oh, we can work with all the science. Let's grab the big guys here, these big guys here, because we may need them for some other stuff later. We have some nuclear power stuff here, nuclear engines, nuclear things like that. Not really super important right at the moment. Some additional building materials. Ooh, the actuator. We'll get that. Why not? We have some docking ports, docking modules, and some adaptive fuel tanks. Some very nice stuff here. 3.75 meter heat shield. So that's mostly building stuff. I think we're going to go for a little bit more science while we're here. So let's go ahead and grab our press map barometer, which will lead us to additional equipment. Ooh, rover autopilot features for MechJeb. The MTZ-086 combined mapping unit. Oh, we can finally map stuff. We get some science off of that. We may actually do that. Let's grab that. And I know this seems really weird because I'm doing this all oddly, but science is super duper important. And get rid of heat, some solar panels. Let's grab the Cupola module, because that was one thing that we really did want, was that Cupola module. Some additional converters, things like this is actually getting really weird. Additional converters and things like that. What else do we have? Well, let's go ahead and go for some probes. Might as well go for some probe data. Let's see. Hey, bombs! I love bombs. Mech feature ascent, landing, and space plane. That's 300 science. That's about half our remaining science, though. But I think a bomb might be worth it, right? Well, let's get our power unit. Ah, here we go. Ooh, double C accelerometer. Super duper worth it. Oh, but we can only get one or the other. No. Do we have any other automated? Well, we do have. Oh, we do have one. We do have one automated. We do have the Sputnik. Well, not Sputnik. It's a Sputnik, whatever it is. It's that one. It's the we do have one automated probe right now. That we can probably use. Yeah, this one. The Sputnik, excuse me, Sputnik Mark 1, which will work for kind of what we need for that. I think we'll give it a shot. I think we'll go with the accelerometer here. I'm not worried about the water splitter or anything like that. There's a science hard drive, which is kind of helpful, but not super helpful. Dual technique magnetometer and a gamma ray spectrometer. Yeah, I'm kind of liking that idea. Got some additional power units and some reflectrons. Oh, so you know. Okay, so we got our mapping unit. Okay, I got this. We got this. We're gonna have to go with the reflectrons. So let's go ahead and go with the communitrons and reflectrons. We're gonna need those in order to set up our remote tech satellite system so that we can map Kerbin. Super duper awesome. So we'll grab those instead of the other two. Hey, and that gives us access to a lot more fun stuff that we can use, which is great. Oh, we're gonna really need those. We're gonna need all this stuff. This is really where our science is gonna work for now for a while. But what we did get out of this is we did get a few more bits and bobs here. Oh, we still have enough for another couple of sciences. Let's go ahead and research that. No research. There it is. And then the heavy lander legs, which we didn't get. Oops, my bad. That's okay. That's okay. Before our next moon mission, though, what I think we're gonna do is we may start mapping Kerbin. Just we'll do a map of Kerbin. We may even set up our remote tech satellite. I may even do that off camera because it's really boring and it's really infrastructure. So I don't know. You guys will have to tell me whether or not you want to watch me set up the remote tech satellites array around Kerbin and basically the moon in order to do mapping, like remote tech mapping and drones and things like that, or whether or not you guys are going to have me do that off camera and then just show all the cool stuff like the actual mapping and you know, sciencing using drones and stuff like that. So you guys give me a heads up on whether or not you want to see that. I know that last time when I set up a satellite system, I cut out a bunch of the boring stuff, and a lot of people actually got upset that I didn't show it all. Like, you didn't show more stuff. I was like, oh, okay, I'll try it. So yeah, you guys have to tell me whether or not you want to see me do the remote tech stuff or how much you'd like to see or things like that. Just go ahead and throw your opinion down there in the comment section, and I'll see what I can do. But for now, that absolutely has been time, and we got a lot of science out of that, and we are well on our way to our ultimate goal, our super secret ultimate goal. And so we will continue in the next video. So once again, I would like to thank you all very much for joining me, 4 kilobytes short, on this Let's Play of Kerbal Space Program, Kerbal Space Adventures, and I will see you guys next video.